Welcome to Airborne. I'm Matt Jeffs. In the studio today, we have Nick McAuliffe and Chris Newman from the St. Augustine Archaeological Association. Did I get that right?
You did.
What? Tell us about the SAAA, as you like to call it. Nick?
Well, we're a group of people in the St. Augustine area that are interested in archaeology. I think that's the bottom line of it. But what makes it interesting, I think, is that it's a mix of people that are professional archaeologists and people that are just interested. We have people who are willing to get involved in a lot of different ways with the group, but I think that's the bottom line to the organization.
How long has it been around?
Been around for 25 years. We're getting ready to celebrate our 25th anniversary with a lot of hoopla this year. We haven't quite figured out what the hoopla is going to be, but we're going to be hooplying. And it was started back in 1985, so we're right at that point of 25 years of involvement.
Do you have a membership? Do you know how many members you have?
I think 140. Isn't that right? Yeah. That's our current 143.
143 at this point.
Chris is the membership chairman, so she's right on top of that. And I think the interesting thing about the group, again, is the range of people that are involved, that people can get. Obviously, the people that are professionals are very much involved in the field, and they're some of the people that we draw on for some of our programs and such like. But someone who, and I'm one of these people who is just an amateur. I've never done this until I retired and moved here 7 years ago, and we hear it a lot, particularly from local people and also from tourists that say, boy, this is something I always wanted to be. If I could go back, I'd be an archaeologist. I think that would be a very cool thing to do. And what people get a chance to do is to do that on whatever level they're interested in. Some people get really down and dirty down in the units and digging, and other people get involved as screeners or sorters or analysts, and actually working with archaeologists in the field. And other people just like to come to the meetings and learn about archaeology. They're interested in it. They like to read about it. They like to hear folk talking about it and kind of keeping up with the newest discoveries. It's always interesting when something's unearthed somewhere in the world that's interesting. And we've had people talking about archaeology, obviously locally, but also all over the world. People who have worked in other places have come in and given talks.
Chris, why St. Augustine, and what is the overall purpose of the St. Augustine Archaeological Association?
As Nick was saying, it's kind of to spread the word about archaeology and get people involved.
Mm-hmm.
St. Augustine's really an interesting town because we have an archaeological ordinance, and it's one of the few actually in the nation that's at the city level. So St. Augustine has its own archaeologist, in particular,
Mm-hmm.
and the St. Augustine Archaeological Association and all its members, one of the things that they do is they help out
Really?
on the projects downtown. Mm-hmm.
With the archaeologists?
With the archaeologists, yeah.
Well, that's interesting, huh? You actually get involved in digs and that sort of thing?
Almost on a daily basis, right, Nick? Nick's down there almost constantly down there helping the city archaeologist.
So when Nick said down and dirty, he meant it.
Exactly.
Wow, you guys really get down into it, huh?
It's a great opportunity, yeah. It's very interesting. And the city here is not unusual in the sense that there's like everything else, it's a funding issue, and the city is wonderful in supporting two city archaeologists, a city archaeologist and an assistant, and but it's basically a two-person paid operation, and archaeology is more than maybe many other things, it's very labor intensive, so it requires a lot of hands and a lot of effort all the way through the process, from getting the shovel into the ground to getting the artifacts and the information into the right databases and the information collated in a way that makes sense in the long run. And all of that takes a lot of effort and time, and it's really based on the successes in many ways based on the number and quality of people that can come out and help with it. So, that's one of the things that our organization tries to do is encourage volunteering and to help with training as we can, and provide a framework where anyone who wants to get involved in archaeology in some way can hopefully do it in a way that works for them and works for the needs of the archaeologists.
Are there any collaborations with universities in the area, or is there any interest in that regard? Can you share with us?
Exactly, yeah. Here in particular, Kathy Deegan with the University of Florida has been conducting excavations for, a number of years. And every year that she's in town, she is very good about inviting the St. Augustine Archaeological Association along to help out on all of her excavations in town. So people have helped her, people have helped her students. Lots of the members get involved in other projects in the area. Not particular here in St. Augustine, but other places fairly close by.
That's fascinating. What are some of the most interesting archaeological projects that you might be able to share with our viewers and listeners?
We, among other things, we located a foundation of one of the early churches, the cathedral, before it was put in its current spot. They started to build another one over on the other side of the plaza, and for one reason or another changed their minds and didn't continue with it, but we found the foundations of that, which we knew from the historic record, but it was interesting actually seeing them. And we also found the remains of some kind of large structure that was built around 1600, and hopefully we'll be able to go back and do some more of that. But that's typical of the kind of thing that we can do downtown.
They gave that other site to the Episcopalians.
Just about. It actually was right across the street from where their church is. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. What are some of the groups that are connected with it? I know you cross-pollinate, don't you? Are there some other groups that are involved with the St. Augustine Archaeological Association?
Yeah, actually, the association is a member of what is called the Florida Anthropological Association, or Society, Florida Anthropological Society, which is a statewide organization of all the different groups. Just depending upon where you are in the state, you can almost always become a member of one of the associate groups. So not only do these types of things go on in St. Augustine, but they go on all throughout the state.
I would say we're a target-rich area, though, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. We're really lucky here in town.
What do you find gratifying about this work?
Well, I'm a professional archaeologist.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah, so it's my life.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to do something you love, huh?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
How about you, Nick? What do you find gratifying about being involved?
It's just very interesting. It's something that I've always been interested in reading about and learning about, but actually never had the opportunity to get involved in it. So and because of the opportunities here, it's very interesting. And it's such a good mix of different folk. We kind of joke that you could throw a rock and hit 3 or 4 archaeologists around town without any trouble. But there probably is, except for maybe the Williamsburg, Yorktown, Jamestown area in Virginia, this is probably one of the richest areas for archaeology, and there's so many different active programs. Besides the city program, the Lighthouse has an active maritime archaeology program that does a lot of diving, and they're working on trying to promote the port of St. Augustine as the oldest port. We're the oldest many things, but we're the first real active port in what is now the United States. And the county also has Robin Moore, who I know you've interviewed and talked to in the past, is a archaeologist who works for the county and is now developing programs to make sure that some of these sites around the county and out in the country are preserved or at least explored fully. So we're working with him too.
Does the St. Augustine Archaeological Association work with Florida Public Archaeology Network at FPAN?
Absolutely. The FPAN office here has been a great addition. It's a little different in a sense because although it's located in St. Augustine, their mandate is to cover a 5-county area, so they have a much larger geographic spread than we do, but they certainly are located here, and we've been able to partner with them in a number of different projects, including our monthly programs. We have some speaker talking about archaeology every month, and we partner with them and have those at Flagler College, and we work on a lot of projects together. We're very, very connected.
Chris, as the person in charge of membership, if our viewers or listeners would like to learn more, what's the best way for them to reach the St. Augustine Archaeological Association?
Probably to come to one of our meetings. We have a meeting almost every month, except in the summer months. And it's usually on the first Tuesday of every month. It starts at 7 o'clock. We have different speakers, a speaker series. And it usually is being held at Flagler College.
Wonderful. And I understand you also have a website. Is that correct?
We do. It's SAAA, for St. Augustine Archaeology Association, .shutterfly.com. So it's SAAA.shutterfly.com. And we have information on there on ways of contacting us, email addresses, and that sort of thing. And we have our schedule of meetings, and also a membership form. We're a member organization, and the more members we have, the more we can, have funding to do supportive activities around town.
Nick McAuliffe, Chris Newman, thank you so much for being on Airborne.